Hello and welcome back to another episode of Survival Command Blocks. My name is Classic Tim. So last episode we got our sleeping bag working. I got that working with red wool. Turns out, let's head over here and take a look actually, just so I can explain, in case anyone else wants to do this. This value, the actual damage value of the wool is what determines the color. So I had to set damage to 14 because that's red. I'm not sure why it uses this damage value, but that's what I had to do in order to fix that. Oh great, now I can't get out here. I think there's some water right there, so I don't want to... Oops. Yep, glad I didn't do that, just in case it hit it. Yep, it would have hit my repeaters. That would have been a pain. Okay. So this episode... I'm going to need some more dirt. So this episode, we're going to do another one of these little convenience things. Eventually, we're going to start actually doing a little bit more fun stuff, but for right now, I want to get this stuff going. By the way, I did do the same thing that I did with these furnaces with the coal. I just did that to all of these. So that way I can just keep one piece of coal in there and say I want to get some more cobblestone in there, throw it in, and it'll keep using up the coal and just keep putting more in. I changed up how I did down here a little bit. So before the iron smelting and gold smelting, it had the coal down here, but I added 5 layers of the coal for each of those 5 furnaces. It takes quite a few command blocks because you have to test the furnace when it's lit and when it's not lit. So you need command blocks for both of those. Kind of annoying. But either way, that is fine. Also, I added a few more things to the system here. And I added command blocks, but the problem is this is where command blocks would go, and I haven't made enough command blocks to actually get 64. I've got like 50 in there. So we're actually just going to have to go ahead and make some more, which is why I smelted up some stone. Let's go ahead and see if we can make a stack. I also added quartz, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And get a piece of redstone. There we go. I am low on quartz now after this stack, so I'm going to have to go back and get more, unfortunately. I've gone through so many quartz with this. But this stack should last a good while. I did that backwards. I made the recipe. You would think I would remember it. There we go. Okay, let's shut that. So, this episode, what I want to do is something that is also taken from modded Minecraft. I actually just tried to fly there because I'm used to a jetpack. We might do something with flying in this series, but for right now, not so much. I don't want to just have creative mode flying because that would, kind of be pointless. But that's not what we're going to be doing this episode either way. Something from modded Minecraft that I've always enjoyed is auto-eating, some way to just eat, because whenever you're mining or running around or jumping, you have to eat every few minutes, and that's if, you don't mind it getting low to the point where you can't sprint anymore. But depending on what you're doing, you have to eat really often. So I want to have it so if we have bread in our inventory, just somewhere in our inventory, I don't want to have it to where it can take it out of the system, because that might be a little bit overpowered right now. We will have a way of teleporting items. I think we'll do something with ender pearls to teleport items like into our inventory or out of our inventory. But I don't really have ender pearls at the moment, so that wouldn't really work. So let's just use the bread in our inventory right now, and that shouldn't be a problem. So the first thing we need to do is actually set it up so we can track how much hunger we have. So there's a scoreboard objective for that, thankfully. So we can just do scoreboard, objectives, add, and we'll call it hunger. And I believe the stat that we want to look at is just called food. Scoreboard objectives, add. Did I make a mistake? Objectives. Let's just type it again. Scoreboard, objectives, add, hunger, food. There we go. Must have made a typo in there I didn't feel like looking for. Okay, so now we are tracking how much food we have with, let's get that out of there so we don't get that, with this hunger objective. So now all we have to do is set up a command block thing. Let's go ahead, we can do it down here. I will add it let's add it over here. It should not take too much space up, hopefully. So I want to keep this space clear because we're going to be going down here as I add more storage, but I do want to add some stuff in this area just so I know where it is. So like, you know, like the sleeping bag thing, I don't want to have to dig around everywhere for it. Okay. Although there's a problem with this working right by the water here. Or by the beach. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and I need to check something actually. So in order to do this, we're going to need to know a little bit how hunger actually works in this game. A lot of people see it. Looks like it's getting nighttime. Let's take a sleep. So there's actually 3 different things that go along with hunger. A lot of people know about the first 2. Some people only know about the first. But obviously the first is the actual hunger bar here. And there's 20 points of hunger right here. There's 10 sticks and plus the half. So it's 20, just like the health. And then on top of that, there's 20 points of saturation, which also most people know about, and that's actually hidden. You can't see it. But as you can see, my hunger bar is jiggling right now. That means my saturation level is 0. You will lose saturation before you lose hunger. That's why you can eat, and then it waits a little bit, and then you start taking hunger points off. That's because it's going through the saturation first. So each food has a different type of hunger and saturation level. Now, a lot of people don't even realize that there's a third type, and that's your exhaustion level. And that's basically how fast your hunger is actually going down. So the exhaustion level goes from 0 to 4, and everything increases it. For example, walking it increases it 0.01 every meter. Sneaking is 0.05 every meter. So sneaking is actually more efficient than walking if you're worried about food. And swimming is actually 0.015, so a little bit more than, walking, and then so on. So breaking blocks, sprinting, jumping, everything increases your exhaustion. And then once your exhaustion hits 4, it gets set back down to 0, and you lose 1 point of either saturation, or if you have no saturation, you lose 1 point of hunger. So we have to use this stuff because we cannot directly change the values of hunger. And we want to change the value based on the type of food that we're eating. So the first thing we're going to do is check to see if we need food. And if we go in here, we can just simply let's change this to repeating, always active. That's good. And then we're going to test for, we want to test for a score. All right, let's test for a score, just testing for everybody. Score, hunger, because that's the point we just set, minimum equals 1. Well, not 1, that's just default value. So that's what I was just copying that from over there. So we need to detect if our hunger is minimum. So this is just trying to figure this out in my head here because I haven't planned this out totally. So we want to detect whether our hunger gets down to 15 because bread heals 5 points of hunger. So we don't want to eat it unless it'll fill us up all the way. So when our hunger gets down to 15, so that means minimum. I believe if it's a minimum, it's going to test for everything above. So I need to do something like a maximum. Let's see. Do I have anything like that over here? It's always good to just look at what you've already done. So this is detecting if it's a minimum. I always forget how scores actually work. It's pretty complicated. I kind of wish it was just, greater than equals, less than equals, stuff like that. So let's just test for hunger equals 15. I believe that'll be everything 15 and below. So less than 15. Well, let's just see if that's triggering right now. Scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, hunger. Okay, so our hunger is at 17 at the moment because we're 3 down and the maximum is 20. So let's just put this here. Well, here just to be good. And make that a chain and do say true. Okay, so that's currently being triggered, so that's not what we need to do. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot to set this to conditional. So it was just going to be triggering no matter what. No wonder it was not working. So I did actually have it right. Score hunger equals 15. It's not currently triggering. And say I were to set this to 18, meaning we're less than what this is saying, then it will start triggering. So that's what we want. So if we're 15 or below, so let's, this will trigger. Not if we're 16, just 15. If we're 15 or below, this will start triggering. And then what we want to do at that point is test to see if we have any bread in our inventory. So this is going to trigger quite a bit. So I really only want to have one piece of bread on me at a time. Let's go up here and get a chest. Do I have a chest sitting around? Yeah, I do. Okay. Because I'm going to be clearing my inventory of bread quite a bit, and I don't want to accidentally clear it all. So let's put most of the bread in here, and we'll just put one in here. So we should be able to do clear at P, so me, bread 0, because 0 is actually the data value, so we just want normal bread, and set that to 1, because we only want to clear one piece of bread. And if I do that, the bread in my inventory should go away. Correct? Oh, it's not going to go away because I actually have full food. So let's say we had 16 food here. All right? See, the bread has disappeared, and it cleared the inventory. So when that triggers, so I just lost that piece of bread, and if I were to take out another piece of bread here, no! Apparently, if you hold something in your hand, it does count as it being cleared. So as you can see, it's cleared it all. So just for this test, I'm going to say, okay, let's say I had 50 pieces of bread so I'm just going to keep giving myself 50 pieces of bread because that's probably just what I'm going to have to do. Okay, set that to 15. And then give at P bread 50. No, not 15, I want 50. Well, now we have more, but we'll clear it anyway, so. Let's just take some of this. And I'm going to go ahead and eat one. Well, I don't want to increase my hunger because I want this. I want to be able to test this. So we'll leave it as it is right now. Let's just set this to 10 for right now, so it doesn't start eating away at our bread. Okay, so now if this does clear the bread, if this does, if this is successful, I actually like to keep these as chain. I keep putting it the wrong way. All right, so if this is successful, then we want to come over here, make this chain conditional always active. All right, and then we want to give ourselves some hunger. And the way we do that is we use the saturation effect, which is just an effect in Minecraft that you can actually get anytime in survival mode, I don't believe. But basically, the way it works is every tick of the saturation effect, you get restored 1/2 hunger and 2 points of saturation at the same time. So bread, unfortunately, gives 5 hunger, so it means we want 5 ticks, and I believe it's 6 saturation. So the way saturation works is it gives us double the amount of saturation. A lot of saturation words here. The way the saturation effect works is it gives double the saturation as the amount of hunger, so we actually want to take away some of the hunger that we get, the saturation that we get, because we get too much. We want to make it exactly how much we normally get from bread. So for right now, let's just give us enough hunger. And the way we do that is effect P, and we want the saturation effect. And for some reason, the way this works is you put in the level, or no, you put in the seconds, the number of seconds first. So that's the number of seconds that will have the saturation effect. And you can't go less than 1. So we're just going to have to do it at 1. Now, obviously 1 second has 20 ticks. And because we get 1 hunger point per tick, 1 second is going to be way too much hunger at level 1 anyway. And 1 multiplies it, by the way. So if you're level 2, then it's going to do 2 hunger points per tick. If you're level 3, it's going to be 3 hunger points per tick. So on and so on. Now, for some reason, when you set it to 0, it only does it at 1 point per second. So if I were to set myself at 0, I would only get 1 tick of actual health, which is actually what we want, because we can set it to 5 seconds, and then that would give us 5, for some reason 0, counted as 1, 5 times 1, that gives us 5 hunger points, which is exactly how much bread gives. Now this also gives a normal saturation effect on top of the hunger of 10, because it gives double the amount of saturation. So this will give us 5 hunger points and 10 saturation points. Now remember, bread only gives 6 saturation points, so we need to take 4 saturation points away when we're done with this. But this right here will give us 5 hunger, which is the same as bread, so that's good. So we'll add that right there. And then, like I said, we want to go ahead and come in here and add... Now, I don't know what I'm used to placing that faces that way, but I've just been playing some modded Minecraft, just in my free time here. And apparently I've been totally reset on how to place this stuff. So, effect at P saturation 5, that gives us the hunger. Now we want to take some of that saturation away, and we can do that with the opposite hunger effect. So effect at P, hunger, and then same thing, so this is going to be seconds here. We're just going to do 1 second, because the way this works is hunger gives you an exhaustion effect. It doesn't actually just directly take away the hunger, it just adds to your exhaustion. So adding to your exhaustion takes away your hunger every time it increases to 4. And exhaustion increases your exhaustion level by 0.025 exhaustion per tick. And this actually is fine, because that means that 1 second at level 16, or level 8 actually, will take away 1 point of hunger. So 1 second, level 8 will take away 1 point, and 16 will take away 2 points, which is a whole hunger bar. And like I said, we want to take away 4 points, because the saturation gave us too much saturation, or too many saturation than we would need, so we're going to take away 4, which is 32. A lot of numbers here, a lot of math, but basically all we're doing is testing to see if we need hunger. If we do need hunger, if we do need to eat bread, clear a piece of bread from the inventory. Just delete it. It's gone. And if that works, then we want to add saturation, which gives us 5 points of hunger, which is how much bread does, and 10 points of saturation. And then this removes the extra 4 points of saturation that we got, because this gives us 10 points. Bread would only give us 6, so 10 minus 4 is 6. So when this command activates, we will get 5 hunger points, 6 saturation points, which is exactly how much 1 piece of bread gives. So that's good. That's what we want. So let's go ahead and we should try and test this. I'm almost at 15 at the moment. We can set this back to 15. So when this triggers, we should be good. Now here's the only concern I have. Usually this won't matter, because we'll just have bread in our inventory at all times. So we'll be healing up. But I'm worried that the way this will activate, if we have, say, if we let our hunger get really low and then have a bunch of bread on us at the same time, it'll delete way too much bread, because the effects won't have time to take place. So we may want to add a little bit of a delay to this. And the best way to add a delay is by far what we did over here with the scoreboard objectives, but I don't really want to mess with that. So let's see if we can just mess with it by copying this out. Let's just add another one here and set this back to 10, because I don't want it to activate yet. And I'm going to put this here, change it to conditional, and then move all these commands down 1. Actually, this one's going to stay the same. Clear the bread. So if the bread is cleared, basically all I did there was move these two down to these two. I want to set this block to stone, and this block is 189.56.250. Copy that. Set block Okay, so that'll set that back to stone. And then we also, at the end, want to set that back to a redstone block after a certain tick of, after a certain point. Okay, so I'm actually just going to do this the lazy way and put a redstone torch right here. So when this is a redstone block, it'll shut the torch off. And then that'll activate this. So when this all shuts off, it'll activate this with a delay, and then we'll set that back to a redstone block. And that is... Do I still have it copied? Set block. Yes, I do. Redstone block. Okay. So this is currently set to 10. So I'm going to set this back to 15. Now, our hunger at the moment... Oh, that activated. I forgot this was not set to needs redstone. Okay, so when I activated that, as you can see, it added 5 points from 14 to 19, and then you can't see it, and there's no way for me to really show you. But I've been given 6 points of hunger, or 6 points of saturation, because I was given 10, and then I removed 4. And the way you can tell that I do have saturation at the moment is if I jump up and down here, you'll see that my my hunger bar is not bouncing at all. Like I said earlier, when it bounces, shakes a little bit, that means I have no saturation left. So obviously I do have saturation, and there's no way for me to easily confirm that it is the correct amount of 6, but you're just going to take my word for it. Okay, so this is set to needs redstone, which means this is not currently triggering. And I'm going to break this and put it back down. That should set that to a redstone block, right? Nope, that needs to be set like that. Okay, there we go. So that shuts off the torch. So now once this activates this redstone block, we'll turn back to stone, turn this on, and with the delay, we'll set that back just so that there's a little bit of a delay, enough time for the saturation to take effect before it tries to check again and delete all my bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete some of this bread because I spawned in too much. I'll just drop it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At about 50. I may have had a little bit more, but not a big deal. We have so much bread. Looks like we need another sleep. Man, this sleeping bag is convenient. Alright, so that pretty much is it. This is really all you need, and now it's just going to keep clearing the bread. Now, I can swap this out with any other type of food just by changing this to whatever type of food that is, and then just changing these values to whatever hunger and saturation that would normally be. But for right now, I should be able to run around no problem forever without ever needing to recharge my saturation or ever needing to actually eat again, which will be really convenient when I'm mining, because that's what really does me in. Okay, so as you can see, since I've been sprinting around, I think I just saw it. Yep, my hunger bar is shaking again, and so I used up the 6 points of saturation that I had, and now I'm running around, and I'm going to just try and lower it all the way back to 15, and then I should eat again and fly all the way back up to full with some extra saturation. There we go. So it did give me that hunger effect just for a little second there, but I'm back up to full, and my hunger bar is full again. And I don't know if you can time how long it takes to from sprinting to see if I have enough saturation here, but I'll just run down and try and run out of saturation again. So I mean, as you can see, I do get the hunger effect there, but it's really quick and you don't really notice it. Let's see if I can get it to start bouncing again. Should only be a second here. But judging by how long this is taking me, I do believe I'm getting enough. I was actually worried that... Yep, so yeah, that was about 6 points, I would say. Looks good to me. And one thing I wanted to do that I actually forgot was you can put true at the end of these effect statements. And then the bubbles won't show up around you, just like the beacon effect. So... That's more convenient. It really isn't a problem because I only get the effects for like literally a second. So not a big deal, but why not just keep the particle effects from spawning. So yeah, now I can just go do whatever I want. Now what I really want to do is, yep, that'll take away 1 piece of bread, good. I'm going to put my bread away, put it right here for now. And then I'm going to get my hunger lower. And then I want to make sure that if I pick up a bunch of bread all at the same time, I'm not going to delete a bunch of it that I don't need to. You know, so say I get my hunger down 10, I should only eat 2 pieces of bread. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so my hunger is about at 11 right now. I assume it'll be 10 by the time I run back. So now, ideally, when I go in and pick up that bread, I should only consume 2 bread. So we got 49. Pick it up. Ooh, yeah. See, I consumed, what was it, 3 there or 4? I started with 49. Yeah, I consumed 3, so I consumed 1 too many. However, that's not actually a terrible thing because I did get the saturation effect. So I should actually have picked up more saturation there. It actually just filled me up all the way. You know, that's actually one thing to consider. You know, if I'm fighting monsters, you know, and my hunger bar is 2 down, I won't be eating automatically, but I'll still want to eat just to get my health back up. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more delay to this, and then that should actually really totally prevent it because that should be a full second there. And that should prevent any extra eating, but that's not bad. The, you know, 1 extra, and I still got the hunger from it because I was actually down below 10 and it filled me up anyway. So it's not like I wasted a piece of bread, I just ate up to full. But that's going to do it for now. That is actually really cool. I'm really happy I was able to implement that. That's just a huge thing for me. I hate eating in Minecraft. You have to eat so much, especially when you're mining. It just takes forever. You have to sit there and stop whatever you're doing, switch to your food, eat, and then you gotta get back to what you're doing. And you have to do it so often, as you can probably see. It only took me, 10 seconds to get down to half hunger when you're sprinting. So now when I'm exploring, I could just sprint forever, not even pay attention to my hunger, and that's really, really cool. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. I'm really happy to get this in. Next episode, maybe we'll try switching to something not so convenient, Okay, so I've added not auto-sleeping, but a sleeping bag. I've added really convenient storage. I've added really convenient doors. I've added really convenient hunger now, auto-eating. Let's see if we can do something next episode that's a little bit more fun. So let me know if you have any ideas in the comments. That would be awesome. Really, the limit of this series is the limit of our imagination. So I'm really excited to see what we'll do next. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.